Hello, you're listening to Questboard, a podcast where we make up random characters. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Tiffany. And just so you know, we are not professional writers in any way, shape, or form. At least we don't claim to be. We just really like tabletop RPGs, and we do this for fun.
That's right. How are you, Tiffany?
I'm doing all right. Getting a little anxious listening to my husband talk about this game he's playing recently. Anxious, like, in a good way, like, I'm happy for him.
I'm wondering, what kind of anxious are you talking about?
Well, I'm anxious because he's anxious. You've heard me talk about before, and I don't know if anyone on here has heard me talk about it before. My husband really likes the game Elite Dangerous, which is a one-to-one replica of our universe. And for the parts of our universe that they don't already know about, they used procedural generation to create the rest of it. And apparently this has been going on for a while now, and some of the procedurally generated planets and stuff out there, they've actually come to discover, oh wait, there actually is a planet there, and stuff like that. So they did really good with it.
Okay. So what is he stressed about?
Well, they recently introduced colonization to the game. So you can build a colony in a system and then like have it bring in a lot of goods and stuff and trade and things. And it's really, it's a new thing that they're adding.
Okay.
And he wants to colonize this one system way out there. He found this really cool one with like twin planets and a bunch of other neat stuff on it. And in order to get a colony there, you have to essentially colonize systems in a chain to it. So he's been working on that for a while now. And come to find out, there's two other people heading towards the same system with their chain colonies. So he's been kind of like not freaking out, but like, I just want to make sure that we get this system. And he found out that his friend, who he plays with often, and started I think it's a guild with. What he didn't realize is there is more people in the guild. They're just all night shifters because his friend's a night shifter.
Mm.
So he didn't realize that this guild, in which he is one of the admirals, was a lot bigger until he was on one night and he's like, wait, what now? And they're all helping him get this system now. It's like they're really coming together and just being this force and working towards getting to that system.
This sounds like a plot to a movie.
It does, actually. But
not
last
like
I heard,
not
they
a
were
blockbuster movie, more like a double A kind of lower budget movie. No offense.
It's fine. But last I heard, they were 2 jumps away. So that's 2 systems away from being able to claim that one. And if someone from the guild can get there and claim it, then no one else can take it away from him. But they have to be able to get a colony there to claim it. So.
And then your husband is going to Japan.
Exactly. So he actually stayed up super late last night. He might be staying up super late tonight, just working on getting that system. It's not going to be the end of the world if he doesn't get that system. He just wants to know whether or not he can by the time we leave.
Well, everyone has their own goals in games.
Yeah.
Not everyone plays the same way, so.
Right.
If you're enjoying a game that way, all to you. That sounds very boring to me.
Oh, no, it's beyond boring to me. Like, I considered maybe jumping on and playing with him just to spend a little more time with him. But then I saw the gameplay and I'm like, wait, you're just sitting in your ship? And he's like, yeah, I'm jumping from one system to another. And it's like, how long does that take? A while. It's space. It's big. And it's not my kind of game, but he has fun. So more power to him. And I'm happy that he found like that community, that group of people that is there to help him and support him.
That kind of reminds me of, what is it, like the American Truck Simulator or European Truck Simulator? Yeah. Where the entire thing is just, you're driving a truck.
Yeah.
And some people take that seriously.
Yes. My brother-in-law actually has the flight simulator where you fly commercial airlines.
Those people as well.
Yeah. He's got like the whole setup with all the gears and like not gears, the
thrusters, levers, and all. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the not the whole setup. It's not like you're stepping into an airplane, but he's got all the controls and stuff.
Hey, if you're really into that.
Yep. And he likes just cruising around. He wanted to be a pilot, but medical crap happened and he can't.
Also, lives are at stake every time.
Yeah, so. Well, he would have been a really good pilot. He has the perfect pilot voice, too.
Now the intercom screws it up anyways.
No. He makes it sound like it's coming over the intercom. It's really funny.
Yeah, but so you're putting a filter on top of a filter, it probably doesn't sound that great.
No, but like he can do it without the filter too.
I'm saying if his voice applies his own vocals, applies the filter of make it sound like it's through the speakers, saying into a microphone so then it goes through speakers.
He can do it with and without.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. That would be interesting to hear a double filter. But anyway, yeah.
No, it probably sounds really bad.
I wanted to talk about my husband's space game because he's very excited about it. I'm very excited for him.
Well, I guess you will give an update when you get back from your trip.
Yeah.
To be continued?
To be continued. I'll let y'all know if he gets the system or not.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else to talk about.
Space.
Oh, speaking of space, we realized when this episode comes out that it is going to be May 4th.
And
so Star Wars Day.
The 4th be with you.
Followed by the better day, Revenge of the 5th.
Meh.
I'm always dark side, baby.
Which is when our YouTube video will come out, so.
Actually, that is actually funny.
Mm-hmm.
Side tangent. We are going to make our character creation based off of Star Wars because we thought that'd be funny. So sci-fi kind of thing.
Yeah.
1, we don't know that much. 2, we don't know that much. We are fancy people.
3, we're not professional writers.
4, you don't talk about Fight Club. But I just want to say, did you ever think about in Star Wars, I feel like the Jedi are actually the bad guys here. Because if you think about their aspects of what it is to how to control the Force, the Sith or the dark side is all about actually emotions and all that stuff, while the Jedi or the light side is all about suppressing your emotions or to not be human, basically. Is to
I can see
suppress your humanity and just be quote unquote sort of objective or complete neutral, while the dark side is embracing that you are human and your humanity.
I can understand where you're coming from, but I'm not the person to talk to about good and evil because I am severely against evil.
But that is a subjective thing because the entire movie series is about on the Jedi side, they view the dark side as evil. But if you think about it, they are a group that's saying, hey, you need to subject or suppress who you are or your entire humanity within yourself.
I am always a fan of the characters who are not raised as Jedi, but have come to know the Force and have to find their own way in it and not be trained one way or the other.
I think I remember hearing that there are like yellow Jedi or something like that where they use yellow lightsabers where they're neither side, but they're like
those are the white
in
ones.
Between.
That's the white one.
No, white is the Jedi or the light side.
No. White lightsabers, those are the ones that are basically in between. They have not chosen a way.
I don't know the universe that well.
I'm going to look up lightsaber meanings, and just in case I'm wrong.
We're not going to do this the entire episode, I'm just saying. Because this will just take way too much time.
Oh, yeah. All right, so blue is your Jedi Guardians, protectors of the Jedi Order.
You can skip all that. Just look up white and yellow.
Okay, fine. We all know what red means. Purple just means I am...
You're Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, I think I forgot his name for a sec. And I want my own lightsaber. But they actually added that into the lore. I thought that was funny. Here we go. White. Neutrality and autonomy. They're typically associated with the light side of the Force, but they represent an individual who has cut ties with the Jedi despite remaining on the light side, but no connection to the dark side. Yellow. It is not certain what this color actually represents, since no one has ever explained it.
I thought there was a faction where they're in between that they believe in like the humanity and having emotions and all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
I would ask for like Star Wars experts, but we're going to butcher so many things today. I'm sure you're not going to talk about this in the comments.
Yeah.
So anyways, it was just an interesting take that I saw like years ago of just like, what is the actual perspective of good and evil?
I just remember...
history is written by the victors.
Right.
In which you
I
can
just
make
remember
it
there was a
sound.
part in one of the shows where Ahsoka cut ties with the Jedi and switched to using white.
Okay, but they're still on the light side.
Yes.
They still believe in suppressing their emotions and all that stuff.
Not really. No, she was kind of letting her emotions out. So she's not like...
But that is the core thought, belief of the
no,
light side.
I fully believe the Jedi are a little bit too controlling.
They're suppressive.
Yes.
You could view that as suppressive. Anyways.
Yeah.
So we actually you explained the whole Fatum cards and all that stuff and how we tweaked it for today.
So I went through my Fatum Cards app and applied the sci-fi cards. And since there was no like classes or anything for the sci-fi expansion, I still included the base set of classes and things like that, but went through and removed anything that is clearly not going to be Star Wars.
So hopefully it'll play out.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen them yet, so
Go ahead.
you ready to start with the first character?
Yep. Let's open up our first character, who is a sorcerer that has been genetically enhanced, which I find
I
interesting.
feel like, isn't a sorcerer a Jedi?
No.
A Jedi is a space sorcerer.
Space wizard is what most people say.
But they're born into it because they have midichlorians in their system.
Understandable, yes. But there are also, I can't remember what they're called. I am not a big Star Wars knowledge person. But the race that, I forgot his name. Oh, Darth Maul. Remember that guy with the red face with all the spikes on his head?
Yes.
The females of that race are typically known to be force sensitive and witches. Like they do magic and stuff, but like force things. So there's also that concept you could go with as well. Did you ever watch any of the shows? The animated shows?
No.
Okay. There's a character in that named Asajj Ventress. She's also quite sorcery feeling as well. But she's a Sith as well. So Jedi or Sith or
you have more
force
knowledge
sensitive.
about this than I do. I'm going to make something up and then you're probably going to be like, no, that doesn't work canonically. I'm like, okay.
Okay. So, origins. Prison. Born in a prison? Who knows? That's just where this character's story starts, and you can find him in a prison or something. Background? Anarchist. Well, that works. Typically, yeah, no. Anyway. So, our sorcerer's first bond is with an enemy, Cyborg, who is another anarchist. So, either working together or really don't get along, but still both anarchists. Their other bond is a human who is their mother, mercenary. So their mother is a human and they're a mercenary. Interesting. So it's safe to assume then that we have a genetically enhanced human. I'll keep going.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to, but it's hard because this isn't fantasy. So it's like harder for me to make these connections in my head.
Right. It's science fantasy.
It's more sciencey.
Yeah. Mark of the past. Be helped. By whom? A wizard. And that's where I feel like a Jedi should come in. They're space wizards, is what people usually call them. Because they do have to study to use the Force.
Well, they still... I feel like sorcerers still study, like it's innate and all that stuff, but they still have to practice at it.
Okay. Sorcerers are the ones who have the higher midichlorians that just come by it naturally. Wizards are the ones who don't come by it as naturally and have to seriously study in order to use it.
Sure,
Okay.
I guess.
Impetus. Rise. As in, going up the social standings or just, rising in whatever society they're in. And why? Selfless sacrifice. Is this why they end up rising, or this is why they want to rise? We don't know. Do you have anything?
Okay. What I've got so far, actually, this kind of reminds me of, minus the mother part, so it reminds me of the Jedi Survivor games.
Oh, yeah?
It was the Souls-like games. Jedi Fallen Order was the first one, then Jedi Survivors was the second game.
I have watched someone play Fallen Order.
Kind of reminds me of that. Because they were helped by a wizard or a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
They, especially in the second game, Cal is like the leader of a rebellious group and all that stuff. I would say to tie some of these in, and you could like jump in. The enemy being what is that? A
Cyborg.
cyborg. Thank you. Can't
We
read
could
that.
say droid at this point because there was no robot to choose from.
Okay, a droid who is also an anarchist. They sold them out, and that's how they got into prison. They
Okay.
basically was both like revolutionaries, kind of like rebels.
Right.
I don't know if you want to say that this is back in the Empire days.
It could be.
Between 3 and 4.
I'm really
Episodes
bad
3
with the
and 4.
timelines on those, but yeah, it could be.
3 is when Palpatine gained into power, and then it turned into the Empire and Darth Vader and all that stuff.
Okay,
and the 4th was the
A New Hope.
rebels, and the Empire's already in power, and the rebels are now fighting back. But this could be just a completely separate faction.
I think
of
right
rebels.
around that time is also when the show Star Wars Rebels
Yeah,
happened.
I didn't watch that.
That one's good.
But yeah, so it's a like rebel group and all that stuff, and maybe the droid was like sold them out for credits or something like that to help fund something else. And they're like, okay, if I just sell you because you're like a spearhead kind of thing, you're worth the most money, and then use that funds to like for a different operation. But then the character here will feel very betrayed.
Yeah. But then maybe they're helped by a Jedi while they're in prison, maybe? Like the Jedi helps them escape prison because they were wrongfully imprisoned.
That, or it's like a Jedi in hiding, if we're doing the same, like between episodes 3 and 4. The Jedi in hiding, and then discovers that the character here is Force sensitive. And so decides to break them. Like, I don't know if like they were in jail, because if they found out that he was a Jedi, they would execute him. But maybe like on the way into jail, came across, like walked past in front of the Jedi and knows that they were Force sensitive.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how it works.
Not entirely, but a lot of times when those who are Force sensitive like lock eyes with someone or get close to someone else who is Force sensitive, they can sense it.
Okay.
They can sense the Force within
We
the
could
other.
do that, and that's how the wizard does that. So if you want to play this character as like beginning fletchling, kind of like Force sensitive, not fully trained and all that stuff, and then the rise as selfless sacrifice, maybe it was the droid was the second in command and now is now in charge. Like it's a mutiny kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so now the entire goal of this character is to claim back their rebel faction sort of thing, maybe. But then I don't know how that's a selfless sacrifice.
Maybe like in their future, there is a selfless sacrifice that will happen to allow them to rise within the faction. Or maybe...
Well, what happens if the wizard... No, well, I was going to say, what happens if that Jedi was a part of the Rebel Alliance that's on the show, but then they didn't have any Jedi canonically in that, so that can't be it. No, they only had Luke.
In Star Wars Rebels, there's a Jedi in hiding who's part of the Rebels.
The official Rebels of Princess Leia and all that stuff?
I don't fully remember. It was a long time ago when I watched that.
Yeah, this is the problem with us going into like Star Wars or sci-fi. We don't know.
I know. It was like, let's do a Star Wars thing. Proceeds to know nothing about Star Wars. Well, okay. We've watched some of the stuff. We know a little bit.
I'm not going to conflict.
Any true Star Wars fans out there, don't come at us, please. We're trying our best here.
I would say, okay, the selfless sacrifice is what happens if like the anarchist group or the rebel group, this person's a good person, because we always have to make good people. What happens if like the reason why the second in command or the entire faction betrayed and sold them out was because they would do things that avoid innocent casualties or this or that, where it's just like good mannered, but then made things harder, or they're like their losses would be too great because of these workarounds.
Yeah.
And so then when they took over, they cut those corners and didn't care about civilian casualties.
Yeah. What if when the second in command betrayed the leader or, our character here, what if they made it impossible for our main character to like continue on with what they wanted to do? Like, in a sense, they made them make a choice. Either get caught and taken away and save the entire faction, or don't get caught and taken away and everyone else is going to get caught and killed. Like, they did something to where they knew that our main character would make the sacrifice.
Okay, I see what you mean. I'm thinking the selling out part is so that the second command droid would be labeled as an enemy. You know what I mean?
Yes, like, our main character sees that, but no one else does. Everyone else sees the second in command stepping up after their leader got taken. What they don't know is it's because of that second in command that the leader got taken.
Okay.
That's just my thinking. And so then they can
That
come
could
back
work.
being like, this person sold me out. They're horrible. And everyone else is like, they would never do that. And they're like, oh yeah, watch this. And yeah. But still, like, it's that kind of thing. Like that backhanded.
We're basically making just a vengeance story.
Yeah. There's a lot of vengeance in Star Wars, though.
Do we want to try and incorporate the mother human who is a mercenary?
I mean, their mother is a human who was a mercenary. That's whether she's alive or not still is the question there, but that can just be somewhere in the background.
We could make it where, like we do with our previous ones, predictions for like within the campaign or like story beats could be where it encounters the mother, and that's how this character would hear the current happenings of the old rebel group. And so then gives a lead, basically.
Maybe their mother is a ManDeLorean. They're typically mercenaries.
Yes. But then wouldn't this character be raised as a ManDeLorean?
Not necessarily. Not if mother's not in the picture.
Oh, was? Are you saying the mother's dead?
Was, yeah. But, like, maybe come to find out we have Mandalorian / Jedi combo going on here, and that's just cool.
That sounds very much main character syndrome.
Uh-huh. Don't most player characters have main character syndrome?
Not like half of my characters.
Oh, that's just you.
Because I don't want to be that person.
You don't want to be the main character?
No, I don't want to be the jerk that's trying to hog the spotlight and be main character.
Well, okay, so maybe this person does have a Mandalorian background, and that can come into play, but maybe they don't buy into it. They're just like, no, I'm not a Mandalorian, I'm a Jedi.
I mean...
Not even a Jedi yet.
You could do that. I would say, like, if it was just we could use a mother as a plot device to point in the right direction of the faction so that you could finish up this character's storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, you could just hear through, like, quote unquote tavern talks about said rebel faction and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it could, like, if the mother was like poor and just like a very basic guard of a like random ship that doesn't make that much money, I could see then that's why this character would be a rebel and just like kind of like that acting out, joining a gang kind of like mentality.
Yeah. Going off into space and doing whatever they want.
Yeah. So it's just like, I think either sort of works.
Either works.
So I guess that's this character.
Yeah.
The Apprentice Jedi.
Yeah.
That's what we're labeling this?
Sure.
Anyways. Okay. That was the first character.
For our second character, we have a warlock. So take that as you will. But they are an alien. So some non-humanoid looking race. Well, humanoid, but human.
We gotta cover this real quick. What would a warlock be in Star Wars?
Ooh.
Because I don't know.
That kind of feels dark side of the Force to me.
Are you saying...
because every new Sith has their Sith master, and they're kind of like a patron in that they're teaching them everything. And that's where they get their powers from. Like, they learn about the dark side. Yes. No?
Oh.
Maybe?
Okay.
It's a thought. You can put that out there. But
I think that's the closest kind of grasp.
their origin is a cemetery? That's something. Their background is Queen. This is getting even weirder. The origin, cemetery, background, Queen. First bond. A former lover who was genetically enhanced. Who? Does that say LT specialist? Some sort of tech specialist or something?
Yeah, I think it says LT.
I don't know what the LT stands for. But they're a science nerd. The genetically enhanced really fits with the science nerd thing. So they were in love with a genetically enhanced specialist. Their other bond? A mother who was a cyborg politician. That's fun. Mark of the Past was a legend about a terraformed planet. Well, that's interesting. So they heard this legend or something. I don't know. Impetus, we have another rise. Why? Wealth. They want money. So this one's a little bit interesting.
Okay. I got something.
All right.
Basically, child of royalty
Okay.
of a queen. That's the birth mother
Mm.
that didn't want the child.
Oh, no.
Left him in the cemetery and all that stuff. The mother cyborg or droid was the
It doesn't have to be a droid. It could actually be a cyborg in this situation. Droids don't really have... Oh, you're saying was
it's
raised by a droid after that?
raised by a droid
Oh,
who
okay.
worked in the cemetery as like a gravedigger or something.
Politician?
Picked up the child and raised him. All right, politician. That's
Yeah, the mother was a politician. Their mother is
They're on council for gravediggers.
I was going to say their mother could be a protocol droid.
Okay, that basically
That's what C-3PO is.
that basically went to the cemetery knowing that the child was abandoned and then just ran off.
Maybe. Yeah. Saved a life.
But then was raised and all that stuff. And this is like the child of a queen of a entire terraformed planet.
Okay.
Maybe like we could say this is the first terraformed planet that was successfully completely terraformed.
Right. So it was unlivable. They
Yes.
they made it a
This
livable
is
planet. It's a new thing.
Newer finished technology about fully terraforming, let's say within record time.
Maybe the former lover is like one of the ones who helped do that, or
I want to say like the planet is already like fully terraformed, and this is just like the lineage of people who've been in charge of the entire planet. That's
okay.
why it's so significant in the legend of this planet.
Gotcha.
And then I was thinking, turns out to be Sith. So like the resentment of being abandoned as a child.
Oh
and
yeah,
all
that'll
that
definitely
stuff.
do that.
Okay, what happens if like before they became a Sith and all that, they got in a relationship with like a hacker trying to like take down their like this entire planet kind of thing.
Oh,
Revenge kind of evil thing. And something fell out. Like it didn't work out or
Yeah, or they cheated on him or something like that.
well,
or
I'm like it started off as like a business relationship of just taking down the entire government system
Right.
and all that stuff, being a real anarchist.
like a relationship of.
But then it turned into an actual
know what-
like lover relationship kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then that broke off for I don't know why, and then they
Yeah. Insert heartbreaking reason here.
and then maybe then the warlock thought, okay, the way to like get anywhere in life and through politicians, learning from the droid mother,
Yeah.
is through wealth. To actually like have a standing just to break it down from the inside.
So they're trying to rise up in the hierarchy through wealth.
And so that's when they came across a Sith.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, if I use this power to gain wealth and all that stuff, they just found a way of power, which power could gain wealth.
Yeah.
And so then it leads to that.
Maybe they're learning from Count Dooku himself.
I'm not going to name names because I don't want to, like,
I
in
know.
any of the movies right now.
It just makes me think of Dooku because he is very wealthy.
I don't know. He died in the first trilogy. I can't remember him
Oh.
that well. Anyways, I don't want to name names because I know so little.
Okay. Dooku-esque.
Whatever it is, it's just this person believes it's like, hey, when you have power, you gain wealth with
Yeah.
that power.
Wealth
It could be
gives you power.
It could be a very child mentality of like that kind of connection.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, okay, if I become a Sith, and maybe they're starting to learn, this is going to be an evil campaign.
Yes. Or this could just be an evil character in the campaign that your player characters have to deal with.
That's kind of hard to do. It really depends on the players.
Yes, it really does.
Some people can actually handle that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people can't, because then too much conflicting.
I gotcha, yeah. No, I meant like this is one of the NPCs, not another player.
Oh, I'm talking about this being a player.
I know. You're saying, oh yeah, all of your players are going to be on the dark side.
Yeah.
What if you had a campaign with 2 sets of players and you had the dark side and the light side? Anyway, that'd be a little bit too much.
If you want to manage that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to talk about it right now. I did have a campaign similar to that in fantasy, but
you mentioned it.
I won't talk about it.
Okay.
Is there anything else to add to this?
Not really. I think we kind of covered all of it. So we have someone who will eventually become a Sith, but is an alien, so not necessarily a human-looking race. Born to a queen, but abandoned in a cemetery, then raised by a protocol droid. Was in love with a scientist, but things went south there, and has now decided that in order to rise up in the social standing, they must gain more money. Oh, and they come from a planet that was terraformed.
Very well-known planet
Yeah.
of being terraformed.
Yeah.
I guess that works.
Sure. I think it's
Star
good.
Wars fans, if you please don't get too mad at us. Let us know what you thought of these characters. I'm going to say timidly in the comments section.
Also, if you want to use them and tweak anything we've come up with about them, go for it.
Or just tell us that we did a banger job. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, you can let us know down in the comments. Or you can let us know on X at QuestBoardPod or on Blue Sky at QuestBoard. If you have a posting of our regular stuff, like a job posting, and we'll probably do fantasy because you could clearly see how well we do in sci-fi, let us know on any of those sites. I think with that, I wish you all a good night.
And happy questing.